All right, guys, good day. Welcome back to Everything Business, right? As was promised, I am going to be looking at income statement today, right? I will try and upload more content, right, based on popular demand, right? I am going to be trying to upload as much content as I can, right, for you guys. And so today we'll be looking at how to do an income statement. Now, this is not the simplest income statement, right? This is a more advanced income statement, though this is not the most advanced income statement, all right? So we're going to be looking at how to do the income statement and the balance sheet. So that is really what we are going to be doing, right, in this video, okay? So let's jump right into it, right? Just a reminder of the core concepts of the income statement. The income statement, formerly called the trading and profit and loss account, right? It really shows you how profitable your business is. It is really two accounts fused into one. The trading account, which shows the gross profit, and the gross profit is the profit that is made before expenses are deducted. And the profit and loss section, right, it shows the net profit. And the net profit is that profit that is left after you have deducted expenses. All right. So if you look at this question, I think this question comes from the textbook from Frank Wood, right? It says Elbins drew up the following trial balance as at the 30th of September 2008. You are to draft a trading and profit and loss account income statement for the year to the 30th of September 2008 and a statement of financial position, balance sheet as at that date, right? And so we are going to look at this, right? This is saying 25 and this is saying 20. All right, so let's begin with looking at this now. So let's examine our trial balance. The first thing you want to do when you see a trial balance, when you're asked to make an income statement or a balance sheet, right? You have to examine the trial balance first and foremost, right? Examine it, see if there is anything else that you need to know, right? So it's pretty simple. We are given the items that we need to make up the income statement. So on this side, you will see I have my table already drawn up, and as we populate the table, it will expand. The first thing that you have to do when you are making your income statement, right, is you have to start with your heading. So we start with the heading, the name of the person. So Elbins is the name of the person, right? So Elbins is the name of the person. Then we're going to be talking about the type of account that this is. So this is his income statement, right? And then we're going to put the date. So let me bring down the table a little bit. When you are making up your table, be sure to use ruler, right, to ensure that your work is neat, right? So you say for the year ending, when did it say? The 30th of September? 30th of September 2008, right? So that's your heading, and you do get marks for your heading. I'm sure you would have known that by now. So these are our tables, our columns rather. We have 3 columns, right? And so we are going to be starting putting in the information. Now, you have to memorize the format of the income statement, right? It is important. We're going to be starting the trading account now. The trading account begins with sales. So what is our sales figure? And I want you to tell me in the comment section what your struggle is with income statement and statement of financial position, all right? So in the comments section, you can just tell me what your struggle is, or if you're having a struggle. If you're not having a struggle, then that's good for you, all right? So our sales figure, and before we even write down our sales figure, you have to check the sales, the trial balance. And in some cases where you have footnotes, I'm going to do another one with footnotes so that you can see. But in some cases where you have footnotes, you have to check the footnote to see if the sales figure is adjusted or in the trial balance. All right. And there are 2 things that can adjust the sales figure, right? sales returns is one of them that we are going to be looking for here, or they call it returns inwards. And so we can see from here that we have, from the trial balance, that we have returns inwards. So we know that the sales figure is to be adjusted. And so we are not going to put the figure in the final column, right, which is the total column. We're going to put it in the second column, right, which is the adjustment column, right, one of the two adjustment columns. So let's put in the figure for sales. All right, so let me change that to that. So the sales figure is 130,900, right? And then now we're going to subtract. So we write less sales returns. And you may say, sir, how you get sales returns? I don't see sales returns here. It's the same as returns inwards, 550, 550. Right. So it's 550. So let me just hurry up and change these. So the total, if you get your calculators out, so it is 130, 900 minus 550. That should give us 130,350. 130,350. Right. Then we move now to the next heading, less cost of sales. Right. So less cost of sales. In some of your classes, your teachers will have cost of goods sold. Less cost of goods sold. It is the same thing. All right. So you don't need to worry yourself about that. All right. So now we move on. We will have our next item, which is opening stock. Opening stock. Our opening stock is normally inside the trial balance. So stock the 30th of December 2007, which would have been the closing stock for the previous year, it would now be the opening stock, right? So the opening stock, you place the opening stock in the adjustment column, 23,910, right? And then now we add our purchases. But before we write down the purchases figure, we have to check to see if the purchases figure is to be adjusted. The purchases figure can be adjusted by two items. It can be adjusted by returns outwards or purchases returns, and it can also be adjusted by carriage inwards, which is when you pay to deliver the goods to your business. So I do see all of them, all of those items. So I am going to adjust the purchases figure. So the purchases figure here is 92,100. So here it is. Purchases figure 92,100. So I'm going to adjust it. So 92,100. All right. Less purchases returns. Purchases returns. And what is our purchases returns figure? It is returns outwards 307. See there? Yes, 307. 307. Right. So we are going to do that calculation. So it's 92,100 minus 307 give us 91,793. 91,793. Put in a little comma there. Right. All right. So we are now going to add, right, carriage inwards. Our carriage inwards figure, if you look closely, our carriage inwards figure is right there, 215. So 215, I'm sorry, 215. So we're going to add 215 to this figure, give us 92,008. 92,008. So we put it at the side here. This figure actually has a name, right? You could call it the net purchases figure if you want to. So now we can add the purchases figure to our opening stock, right? So we're going to add that now to our opening stock. our opening stock is 23,910. That is 115,918. 115,918. 115,918. Right? So now we have what is called the cost of goods available. Right. So this is our cost of goods available, the amount of goods that we have to sell. And so now we're going to subtract our closing stock. Closing stock at the end of the month. If you look in your trial balance, outside of your trial balance, you will see your closing stock. The closing stock is normally, and I say normally because it doesn't have to be, but it's normally located outside the trial balance for the most part, right? So the closing stock, what you can use is the date to help you. So it says stock at the 30th of September. All right, so you're subtracting 27,475. 27,475. So pull out our calculator. So this figure minus 27,475. That gives us 88,443. 88,443. 88,443. Now this figure has a name. This is our cost of sales, our cost of goods sold. Cost of sales. Right. Right. The same as cost of goods sold. Right. Which is what we set out to find up here. So this is our cost of goods sold, or cost of sales. We are now going to subtract this figure from our net sales figure. This figure is actually called net sales, you know, this one. Net sales. I could have used another row and put the net sales there. All right. So we're going to do the subtraction, and that will now give us our gross profit. So 88,443 minus, right? Well, let's not do that. So let's do 130,350 minus 130,350 minus 88,443. That gives us 41,907. So that's 41,907. This is now what we call our gross profit. Remember, gross profit is that amount, right? That profit that is made before expenses. All right. So now we're going to subtract our expenses. Now, when you reach to this section, right, in a simple income statement like this, I would advise that you pause and you count up your expenses so that you don't forget anything and make any unnecessary mistakes. All right. And so I would suggest that you start at the top of your trial balance. Start at the top of your trial balance and try to count your, count your expenses or identify your expenses as you go down. So loan, that's not an expense. Capital, that's not an expense. Drawings is actually an expense. However, we don't use drawings in the income statement. We use it in the statement of financial position. So just bear that in mind. All of these are not expenses, right? So these are not expenses that we would use, right? Here, all of these are not expenses that we would use, right? So we won't use those, and some of them we already use. So if you come down now to carriage outwards, that is an expense that we will use. Motor expense we will use. Rent and rates we will use. Telephone we will use. Pay, insurance, all of these. We are going to use all of that information. All right? All right, so let's list our expenses now. So starting with carriage outwards. So carriage outwards, and the expenses, you put them in the middle column, right? If you don't have this first column there, then you would use this one. It's the same, right? So this is the middle column, right? In this instance, if this column wasn't there, then this would be the first column, all right? So carriage outwards is 309. 309. So we have carriage outwards, we have returns, sorry, we have motor expenses, and motor expenses are 1,630, right? And then we have rent and rates, and rent and rates amount to 2,970, 2,970. And then we have telephone charges, and that amounts to 405, right? And then we have pay or salary. Some books will say salary, right? It's the same, or wages, the same, right? So that is 12,810. Then we have insurance, right? An insurance amount of 492, right? And then we have office expenses. Yes, office expenses amounted to 1,377. And finally, we have sundry expenses. Do you know what sundry expenses are? If you do know, place it in the comment section and tell us what sundry expenses are. So now that we have concluded our expenses, we can now total our expenses, right? So we can either put the information at the side there, or we can go down a line to write total expenses. I just like to put it at the side there, right? So the total expenses would amount to, let's do the calculation. All right, so we have 309 plus 1,630 plus 2,970 plus 405 plus 12,810 plus 492 plus 1,377 and plus 284. So that gives us a total of 20,277. So 20,277, right? So that's our total expenditure, total expenses, right? And now we're going to subtract our total expenses from our gross profit to come up with our net profit, right? And there's a trick to it. If you see that your total expenses is less than your gross profit, then you know that you are going to make a profit. However, if your total expenses are more than your gross profit, then you know that you'd make a net loss. So say, for example, this was, for example, 80,000, right? You know right off the bat then that this would not be a net profit, it would be a net loss, right? But now we know that it's going to be a net profit. And the net profit amount is going to be 41,907 minus 20,277, which would be equal to 21,630, right? 21,630. And you can now put your double line, right? I have to go through all of this now to put my double line. But you put your double line there, and you would have completed your income statement, right? For this one. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I will be posting another video with the statement of financial position. I don't want this video to be